Well, I didn't mess
All
myself up.
right. Hey, everybody. It is Wellness Wednesday. Happy, wonderful Wellness Wednesday. Deborah Dixon-Anderson here from Gold Wellness Circle and Light of Gold PR with my guest, Yolise from the Alzheimer's Association. We
Hello,
are so
hello.
excited to have you here with us. This is awesome. Like, now, girl, how do you pronounce your last name? Because I just call you Yolise. So,
Caratini is my maiden name.
Carratini. Okay, Carratini. Okay, good, good. Because I looked, I was like, I don't know how to say her last name. I just want to make sure. I just want to make sure I pronounced it correctly.
No, you're
But
fine.
we're just so happy to have you here with us on this call, especially in this month
Yeah.
where we celebrate the longest day. And just real quickly, everybody. Go Wellness Circle started as a wellness initiative. Most of you guys know me from Light of Gold PR, and we've been around for 17 years doing press, marketing, branding, digital events, and all that kind of stuff. And our Alzheimer's event, which the wonderful Alzheimer's Association is partnering with us on, that's coming up on Saturday, June 24th, really started because of my own personal journey with Alzheimer's. And my mom had it, and she started getting forgetful and starting to get lost. She couldn't pay her bills. It was rough, and I didn't know what was going on with her. And then I took her to the doctor, and this was probably back in 2015, 2016. And they started doing a couple of tests on her and realized she couldn't count, Lord, she couldn't pay her bills, she couldn't count her money. She didn't really get lost. I'm grateful that my mom wasn't a wanderer per se. She would kind of stay at home, but it's those types of things that you start seeing with your loved one that I saw, upfront and personal, when they start going through all of that. So it's truly a rough journey. And I did want to quickly segue over to the longest day. Yolise, if you could share a little bit about the wonderful Alzheimer's Association and the longest day and what it's about and everything with our audience.
Yes, absolutely. So the Alzheimer's Association has a fundraising initiative. It is called The Longest Day. The longest day is the summer solstice. This year it is July 21st. It is the day that we have the most sunlight. We have 16 hours of sunlight. The sun rises the earliest and it sets the latest. And so our slogan is the day with the most light is the day we fight. And we raise as much money as we can through individuals taking what they're passionate about, what they love, and turning it into a fundraiser. Whether that is, hosting a cookout or, a card game or a lemonade stand. And then
Yes,
with Gold Wellness Circle, we host an entire health fair.
yes,
Where we dance in honor of Debra's mother. We do Zumba and yoga, and we just make the community as much as aware as possible. And this event really embodies what the Alzheimer's Association and the Longest Day is about.
yes,
And it's a beautiful thing to know that 79 cents of every single dollar is going to the research of,
yes,
preparing us to cure Alzheimer's, to have a world without
yes,
Alzheimer's. And we're
yes,
just working toward
yes.
having the first person without
Yeah.
Alzheimer's.
Yeah,
So,
that would be amazing. It would be
yep.
amazing. So our event is really going to have everything that we could think of to pack in for brain health, for wellness,
Yes.
everything. And the Zumba has to be part of it because my mom loved to dance. And she was a
I can't wait.
dancer and she loved to dance. So we go all the way in with the dancing. But we also have yoga, we have meditation, some wonderful instructors and coaches. We have some fantastic vendors as well, and just activities. United Healthcare is going to be there. Columbia University, Yolisa, I didn't get a chance to even tell you this, but Columbia University is doing a study on Alzheimer's and how it impacts
Yes.
people of Hispanic
Hmm.
descent. So they're
Hmm.
doing a study, and they're going to be a vendor there. We're going to have Green Sprouts Market. They do healthy food, caring people. So all the resources that someone would need to
Right.
help them with their loved one or as a caregiver, we're going to have a lot of those resources there. And then my personal uh, journey with my mom included the Alzheimer's Association early on. I was calling, the hotline. I was calling for
Mhm.
advice. I was calling for help and everything. And it just felt so good to be able to talk to people that understood, what I was dealing with, and also said, hey, did you know you can get this for your mom? Did you know you should call here? Do you know? And this was whether she was in New York City and when she was in Georgia. I still call it
Mhm.
the Alzheimer's Association. So I don't think that people realize what a gift you guys are, what a resource you
Yes,
guys are.
thank you.
Yeah.
Our hotline is 24 hours, 7 days a week. There's someone always there to answer you, answer your questions. Oftentimes we're faced as caregivers with behaviors that we're not used to,
Yes.
behaviors that we're not quite sure how to
Mm-hmm.
redirect them, or get our loved ones back to a place of comfort. And
Mm-hmm.
our hotline really is there for that, and any
Mm-hmm.
a slew of
Right.
other things. um,
Yeah.
and yeah, I don't think people realize that the Alzheimer's Association is nationwide. Like, we
Nationwide.
are the third largest research, like funding research organization in the world.
Mm-hmm.
It's
It's
China,
amazing.
United States, Alzheimer's Association. And I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that's such an accomplishment to really be
Yeah.
on the forefront of that research. And I'm really super excited about Columbia University doing the study on
Mm-hmm.
Hispanic women, because
Yeah.
I'm Hispanic. I'm a Hispanic
Yeah.
woman.
Right.
And I think about my mom, and sometimes when I'm
Mm-hmm.
having conversations with caregivers, and as my mom gets older, as both my parents get older, and I
Yeah.
think about, like, how much we give up to take care of our
Mm-hmm.
parents when they get to that,
Right.
to those
Yeah.
ages.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it takes me back to, like, my why, and why I'm here, and why I do
Right.
this, and why I'm
Mm-hmm.
passionate about the Alzheimer's Association. Is because, like, I would really like to live in a world where there isn't
Yeah.
Alzheimer's, where my children
Absolutely.
aren't having to give up these careers that they've worked their entire lives
Right.
for,
Yeah.
to have to come home and take care of me,
Right. And
who
that
doesn't
that's really
are.
happening. That's real, for
11
a lot of,
million
yeah,
caretakers.
yeah, 11.
11 million.
Hmm. And
And
it's
we're in
pretty
that bridge
amazing.
generation.
Yeah, we're absolutely in the bridge generation, and it is very true what I've been seeing with Alzheimer's, just from the research that I've done, how many people are getting younger and younger. And for me, I know Rutgers University is also doing a study. We're hoping to partner with them. They're doing a study on African Americans and
I love
Alzheimer's.
that.
And I have to be part of that study because I'm in the third generation. My grandmother, my mother's mother had Alzheimer's. My grandfather on my father's side had Alzheimer's. So me and my sisters look at each other like, oh my God,
Which
is
one
it
of
gonna be
us?
one of us? And so
One in
just
four.
making sure that we do our due diligence to find out, like, how do we prepare if we know
Right.
that we're predisposed, for it?
Right.
How do we prepare for that?
Correct.
You know?
And
Yeah.
getting the access to those tests that are
Yeah.
going to identify the lesions, the brain lesions,
Yeah.
the plaque,
Absolutely.
the specific plaque that is related to dementia and Alzheimer's,
Yes.
and the fight to have that covered by our insurance
Mhm.
providers,
Right.
because
Right. And it
even at
is a
that
fight.
level, oh,
Yeah,
it currently is a huge fight,
it
because even
is.
at that level, I think that it's like, oh well, Alzheimer's,
Mhm.
you know,
Yeah.
it's an older, people think that it's
Yeah.
related to older people only. Oh well, she got it when she was
Mhm.
85. Or he got it when he was
Right.
90. No, we're seeing it late 40s. We're seeing it early
Mhm.
50s. We're seeing
Yes.
it progressively, you know,
Yes.
taking people out of their careers that they've loved, they've given 25 years to, and having to give it up and change their entire lives before they are
Right.
anywhere near the retirement age.
Mhm.
Um,
That's right.
and it, to me, it's so devastating to think about, because if I don't have my mind, I don't really
Yeah.
want to be here.
Yeah.
Like, I want to
Absolutely.
be able to problem
Mhm.
solve and identify people and think about my good memories. And it's just
Mhm.
such, so you watch people and they're getting younger and younger.
Yeah, they are getting younger and younger, and certainly health and wellness plays into
Hmm.
that.
Oh,
Stress,
absolutely.
all of these. Well, to be honest with you, all the sicknesses and illnesses are connected to what we eat. The stress
Hmm.
that's in our lives.
Gut
How do we
biome.
deal with
Yep.
that? Yeah. So wellness and self care are really, really big, especially
Oh,
for me because
absolutely.
when I was taking care of my mom, that's when I was diagnosed with breast cancer. And I had to learn how to say no because I had a 1 year fight ahead of me just to stay here. And so I
Right.
had to trust my niece, Michelle, who was my partner in taking care of mom. She's 5 years younger than me, and she's flying in for the event from
I love
Georgia. So
that.
it'll be nice. So she'll be there. And just the fact that, here I get this diagnosis, I didn't even think about myself. I just worried about mom. I honestly did not even think about like, oh, well, who's going
Right.
to take care? I just was like, who's going to take care of mom? And I
Mommy on the
still
way. Yes.
remember, yeah, my husband Rick telling me, and he was great at being my caregiver. He said, I guess I'm going to be your caregiver. He said, and we got to
Mhm.
find some help for mom because you're going to have to go through chemo and radiation, and which I
Mhm.
had a 1 year journey with that. But I'm saying this to say that when you keep saying you don't have time to go to the gym or go get your nails done, the pampering things, or go get a massage or walk, take your walk or ride your bicycle. You have to make time for the exercise and the self care and the wellness that you deserve because you can't take care of anybody else if you don't take care of yourself. You have to
Mhm.
put the mask on yourself. So, self
Mhm.
care and wellness factors into just about everything that we do at Go Wellness Circle because it's like everything implodes if you don't have that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I wasn't sure you were going to bring up your cancer journey, so I
Yeah.
withheld when I was talking about like how
Yeah, it's
our insurance
okay.
companies are fighting us, and they're pushing back on Alzheimer's, where it's like,
They
are
are.
we seeing the same pushback when it comes to cancer, or and
Hmm.
they deserve the same level of care. Oh, it's
Yeah.
also really funny that we're both married to Ricks, but
Yeah.
just saying.
Oh God, I didn't know that.
Our
Well, yeah,
sister
we
Richard.
got we got to talk when we get off this screen. I didn't know that.
Yes.
That's cool.
Um, yeah, it's that that caretaker stuff. Like, and on the side. I used to do events and things like that, and
Hmm.
I recently was like, I'm done. It's too much. It's
Hmm.
too stressful.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
the amount of stress I'm putting on myself, and
Hmm.
being at the Alzheimer's Association and knowing that all of those factor into what's next. And what's good for
Yeah.
your heart is good for your brain. And so,
Right.
being out there,
Right.
run, do Zumba,
Hmm.
you know,
You got to
um,
move.
but
Yeah.
you have to do things for yourself, and
You
it's
have
a
to.
part of the Alzheimer's Association's whole focus is making sure that caregivers are caring for themselves,
Yes.
because
Yes.
what happens
Absolutely.
next? We don't have
Yeah.
enough providers that are
Yeah.
affordable, that are
Hmm.
available for
Yeah.
our Alzheimer's patients, who
Yeah.
understand their needs,
Absolutely.
who can meet their needs.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
costs are astronomical.
Hmm. It's
um
astronomical, and um, it's just so disappointing that so many things aren't covered by insurance, and you have to
mhm.
find other ways of making sure that you can take care of yourself or get these things done, which is very
Mhm.
disappointing that we have to do that. And then heck, if you don't even have decent insurance, you can't. All of this is a wash,
It's a
and
wash. Mhm.
it's just horrifying when you think about it. Thank God there are resources like yours and others, because what I have found that people have to do is like gather up whatever community resources that they can rely on and get resources in those areas. They could get the
Oh,
care
yeah.
in those areas. They kind of put it all together,
Mhm.
because they have to do that.
It's like,
Yeah.
when they say like life is full circle, right? So they raise us as children, and it takes a village to raise our
Hmm.
children. It
It
takes a
does.
village. We
Hmm.
need aunts and cousins, and eh, you know siblings. We need them all to make raising a
Mhm.
child possible. And then
Right.
we get to the stages where we're taking care of our parents, and we need that
Mhm.
same village to come through and help with our, you know, I think for me the saddest part is that so many of us try to live the right way. You know,
Yeah.
you go to school, you have a career, you get all the
Mhm.
401k and the benefits and the IRAs and the this and the that, and you
Mhm.
save and you buy a home and you
Mhm.
raise your children, and then you get to the senior age and you
Mhm.
realize that all of those things bar you from access to this or access to
Right.
that, or
Yeah,
that
it's
it's
true.
just not enough. At the end of the day, it's
Mhm.
still not enough for the masses.
Mhm.
You know,
Right.
working class people, even upper middle class, we're all giving something. You know, our
Mhm.
people are walking away from corporate America because they have to care for their mother. They have to care for the
Yeah.
because 2 hours a week
Right.
in home health, 2 hours a day, 10 hours a week in
Mhm.
home health aides is not
Right.
sufficient.
Yeah,
That's
and
literally your morning routine, and that's it.
it is. It is. And I'm so glad you brought that up, Yolise, because the other part of this that happens when you are taking care of a loved one, and you're putting all these resources together. You know, I have friends that live in Westchester. I grew up in the South Bronx in New York.
Mhm.
Sometimes you go to certain parts of New York or areas of the country, the care is a little bit better insurance wise. And you got mom over here in the South Bronx. Meanwhile, because I'm talking about, this is near and dear to my heart. A good friend of mine is going through this right now. Her mom has the Lewy body Alzheimer's, which I would never
Mhm.
wish on my worst enemy. Dealing with
Right.
that, and
It's
then
physically
yeah,
present, the disintegration,
yeah,
the
yeah,
progression
yeah.
is so
Hmm.
rapid, but it is still
Hmm.
the longest goodbye.
Yeah, it is. It is. It is so long, and then you have, you know, the sandwich generation having to travel back and forth, coordinate, taking care of
Raise our
mom,
kids, go
you
to
know,
work,
and
get to,
raising
yep,
kids. It is, but the hardest thing too is
building
also
businesses.
wherever you are building a business, or if you're on a job and you're working someplace that does not understand why you need
Mm.
to take time off because mom got lost and nobody can find her, you know,
Mhm.
or dad can't be. That is why the additional stress happens to the caregivers, you know,
Mhm.
because now you have some place that doesn't understand. So where does all that stress go? It goes, if you internalize it, and it
Oh.
affects your health, all of
Mhm.
your health. So you have
Yeah.
people that deal with that day in and day out, you
Mhm.
know, and it's challenging. I don't have any answers. I just know it's like an issue, you
Right.
know, for
There are
so
no
many
answers,
people.
Deborah. There are
It's
none.
like,
If the
where are the
hotline can't give it to
answers?
you, we don't have it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just you do the best you can with it, but
Mhm.
gathering up resources like yours. There was also a place, about one of my favorite places is Mary's Place by the Sea, and this is a respite for
Mhm.
women going through cancer. I've gone there two or three
Oh.
times and built
Uh-huh.
a relationship with these pearls. We call
Mhm.
ourselves the pearls, these ladies, because we were all going through cancer at the same time. And
Wow.
we
Okay.
went there. Some of us had lost our hair already, our eyebrows, whatever, but we bonded because of that experience. And so now it's time for
Mhm.
us to pay it forward. You know, God got me on the other side of this, so it's like I'll help somebody else stay there. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But that was a respite. But what I'm bringing this up to say that you need like 3 to 5 organizations that you know, that provide this level of support that maybe you
Mhm.
can't get anyplace else, you
Mhm.
know. And so where else can you talk about what you're dealing with as a caregiver of a loved one with Alzheimer's, except for an organization like yours? Like, because I've used that hotline a line. I've called crying in the middle of the
Mhm.
night. You know,
Yes.
I've done that. So I know, you know, how
I get
valuable
them.
it
I get
is.
the calls. I
Yeah.
get those calls, like we do have an incredible, incredible team of people who do care and support programs, who are,
Mm-hmm.
hosting support groups and hosting educational sessions and workshops. And, I have this amazing colleague, her name is Tarina, who runs,
Mm-hmm.
who's working in our care and support department. And yesterday we did an event together, the
Mm-hmm.
longest day and care and support,
Mm-hmm.
kind of lecture, where Dr. Greenberg, who's a neurologist, came in and he, had to talk about where we are with Alzheimer's and what's next and how far we've come and what the journey looks like.
Mm-hmm.
And the amount of emotional support that we have to provide
Mm-hmm.
during
Mm-hmm.
and especially after, when that
Yeah.
presentation wraps up, we've stirred up
Mm-hmm.
emotions, we've stirred up questions,
Oh
and so
yeah.
now we're there, we're listening to stories, we're offering a shoulder, we're giving information. But it's like, in greater New Jersey, our
Mm-hmm.
team is very small and mighty. There's 10 of us,
Mm-hmm.
10 in greater New
Wow.
Jersey.
That's
um
amazing.
and we're doing it right. We do
Mm-hmm.
it because the
Yeah.
passion and
Mm-hmm.
understanding
Mm-hmm.
that the need, um is such a great need, such a great
Yeah,
need.
it's a huge need. It definitely is, and I just love sharing the resources that you guys have over there, because it's really very impactful and it's very powerful. And like I said, so many people don't know. And Yolise, I spoke to one of my Zumba sisters, and she said her mom's in another country, and she said the Alzheimer's cause is very near and dear to her heart because her mom's in another country. She has Alzheimer's, and I said, "Look, you can still get support. You should
You
call because
absolutely can, because
you're
she's
here.
here.
You're
She's
here.
here,
So
and
you
she
need to
needs
call
help for
them.
herself.
Who needs help?"
Absolutely.
And I told her,
Absolutely.
don't let that deter you from getting your own support.
Right.
Because you're going to need it.
Oh yeah.
So yeah.
Oh yeah.
So
And
absolutely.
I love that your event on Saturday, next Saturday, is
Hmm.
having the Zumba and the meditation, because if we
Hmm.
don't get our minds right, we can't continue to do this
Yeah,
journey.
you have to get your minds right. Yeah,
Mhm.
and it's so important. And
And
like I said, you gotta
smile
put
and
gotta
laugh.
put the mask on yourself first. You gotta
Hmm.
do it, because if you don't do
Hmm.
it,
I love that
that's when
analogy.
all of this stuff comes
Hmm.
at you. And look, we went going through COVID and the anxiety that everybody's dealing with on the regular. Um, we are
Yeah.
definitely going through PTSD right
Oh
now.
yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, it's definitely, so you add on to that a loved one that's going through something like this. It for me, it's like extreme self-care is what you
Right.
have to practice, not regular,
Right. Oh.
extreme, which
Ah.
means that certain times it's non-negotiable for whether you're going to do whatever you need to do for yourself. It
Hmm.
should not be something that keeps getting pulled off the table for something
Hmm.
else, for someone else. That shouldn't
Yep.
keep happening.
Let me tell you,
It's
I'm
not good.
June is my busy season. June is like,
Mhm,
the longest day. It takes up so much energy and all of those things. And then it kind of tapers off as we get into the next big thing. And when
mhm,
I tell you the extreme self care that is going to happen in July, like,
mhm.
I'm going to camp. I'm going to be in a cabin alone, just with
Yes,
myself, just
that's
to
great.
reset. And we had this conversation about how COVID changed things for us.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
I think about what the blessing is as well. Like, the silver lining to COVID
Mhm.
is most of us got to go remote for work.
Right.
And so
Yeah.
now we're in
Right.
the house. Those caretakers, we're not running. We're not leaving at 7 a.m. to get on the train to get into Manhattan to our offices. We're home. So
Mhm.
now that morning
Yeah.
rush off the table.
Hmm.
Now mom is in the living room. She's doing
Hmm.
whatever she's doing. Everyone's
Hmm.
kind of around. We're not separated. That
Hmm.
time at home, while stressful because now you're in it all the
Hmm.
time, it's also a relief. Like, I'm not
Hmm.
away from it either. I'm not having to look for
Right.
someone. I'm not
Yeah.
having to, but that hotline, that mental health support, that emotional support, it
Hmm.
was greater need, greater need.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a huge need. So um, Miss Yolise, I could talk to you all day, girl, but I know
I
we
can
only
too.
got 5 minutes. We got 5 minutes. And so, yeah, we love doing these types of calls to share the resources that you guys have. What's a good way to get in touch with the Alzheimer's Association?
The best way to contact the Alzheimer's Association is through our hotline, obviously.
Mhm.
Um,
Yes.
the second best way is to call our, if you're in the greater New Jersey, you're going to look up your regional office. And you're going to get
Mhm.
in touch with your regional office if you're, which is
Yes.
Florham Park. For us, we're in Florham Park, but we cover top to bottom. If you're
Hmm.
in New York City has an amazing team over there in New York, and they have longest day things going on over there. And
Hmm.
I love that I'm right across the water, like I can see into Manhattan
Yeah,
in my
right there. Yeah.
yeah. So it's my sister region right there. Um,
Right. That's great.
but the very best place for you to find any resources that you need is alz.org.
Yes. Definitely go to the website. It
It's going
has
to give you
everything. Everything is there. Yeah,
everything. Sign up
absolutely.
for our newsletter. Our newsletter is going to get to you every Wednesday.
Hmm.
And pick and choose. We can send you all types of things. The nice thing about our website is that you can refine what you're looking for. So if you're looking for care and support, you'll get care and support. If you're looking to support us through development and fundraising efforts, you're going to get that. But you'll always get a live person on the other end, which is so
Hmm.
nice. Which is
That
so
is
nice.
great. Yeah, and
Yeah,
it's so
it's
rare.
yeah, very,
Doesn't always
very,
happen. Yeah.
very.
Hmm.
It's why I keep my cell phone and my email signature. I text people, like everyone I'm working with, constituents, caretakers, anyone I come across that may need something extra. I'm like, here's my cell phone number. Here's my cell phone
Hmm.
number. Just because
Hmm.
who wants to keep calling and leaving a message?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
so, find
Yeah.
us on alz.org. If you want a live person immediately, hit that hotline.
Hmm.
But if you're
Absolutely.
local and you're looking for something to do on June 24th, come see us in Bloomfield. We're going to have a whole health and wellness
Yeah. It's gonna
fair.
be great.
It's going to be so
Yes.
much fun. I'm
It's
looking
going to
forward
be a
to it.
lot of fun. It is, and it's going to be, fun. I think it's great when we can have fun with a purpose, right? So there's still a
Absolutely.
purpose
That's
connected to
exactly
it,
what the longest day
and
is about.
yeah, that's what it's about, and everything. My personal, I'm just going to share this real quick story. With the longest day, I know how impactful that could be for people going through Alzheimer's or dementia, because I used to see my mom change whenever the time changed, every year.
Mhm.
And that day was a rough day for her. The longest day, I would go visit her, and she couldn't remember anything by the time I got home, which was literally
Oh.
within the next 45 minutes to an hour. It was like she didn't remember seeing me. She didn't remember anything. And I remember the facility where she was would call me. They said, "Can you please talk to your mom? She was just like out of it. She was off and everything, and she knew something was happening to her. So
Hmm.
she would say, "What is happening to me? I don't
Right.
understand why I feel this way." And I told her, I explained to her that I know sometimes when the sun is going down, you might feel a little funny, or the sun is rising. I said, "But you know what you should do now? Maybe you should take a little nap." And so I would encourage her to take a nap, and she would take a nap. And then when we talked within an hour or two, it was just like it was gone.
Right back to you.
It
Hmm.
was so I used to just encourage her to take a nap, or I would tell her that I know you don't feel well now, but it's going to pass. And I've seen it pass. I've had my sister call me from Atlanta. I don't know what to do with mom. She said, and I would talk her through it. One time I stayed on the phone with her for 45 minutes while the sun was setting. It was like a switch. She
Yep.
just, she was fine after
The
that. And she's
longest
like,
day.
it's
Yeah.
unbelievable.
The longest day is 16 hours of really
Yeah,
hard work for people who are
it's
caring for
hard.
people with Alzheimer's. I
Yeah,
mean, they're awake with the sun and they go to sleep with
yeah,
the sun, and
yeah.
that circadian rhythm and how that works, and
Hmm.
sleep
Yeah,
cycles, and it's a
all of that.
long day. The
It is the
longer the
long day.
sunlight, the harder
Hmm.
it is.
Yeah,
for
it was
for
hard.
our
It was
yeah.
hard. I have a real quick funny story that a friend of mine told me about her aunt who
Mm,
had Alzheimer's, and she lived in Brooklyn, and she had left, like, she, doing her little errands and stuff, which they gave her a little bit of flexibility of doing some things, really quick things in the
right.
neighborhood while the sun had went down, and she didn't know how to get back home, and she was wandering, and the police found her, thankfully, and they brought her to the police station because they were concerned for her. So, people who don't think that they're
Yeah.
good people in New York City, there are, good
Very good
cops.
people. Very
They're
good
good people
people in New
everywhere.
York City.
Yeah,
Yes.
and so they took her to the police station, and they asked her, "Man, where do you live?" They kept going on, and she didn't know. She didn't know. She
You
didn't
just have to wait.
remember. She didn't have any ID. Oh, it was horrible. But the next morning,
She was
when
ready to go back home.
they asked her again, then she said, "What am I doing here?" And they said, "Man, we've been asking you for hours now. Where do you live?" She said, "I know where I live." She rattled off her name, her phone number, her address, because now the sun
Mhm.
was coming
Right.
up. And they were
That's right.
like, "Oh my God," because they literally kept her overnight in the
Yes.
police station, and her
And
poor family.
thank God for that
Yeah, thank
because
God for that.
too
God.
many
Yeah.
stories are that are
Yeah.
not a happy ending when they
That's not a
wander.
happy ending. And they kept her there
Mhm.
because they said, "She's not going to make it if we don't bring her in here." And she couldn't tell them her name, address, phone number, nothing. But it was like
The
a
next
kiss.
day, she was like,
The
"Take me home."
next- yeah, what am I doing here? And it was
Right.
like, they said, "What?" So that longest day, that
Mhm.
time change can really, oh, it's like the worst thing. Like, we think it's wonderful because the day
Right.
is long for us to go do things
That
for
change of
ourselves. But for
people who deal with seasonal depression, they're coming
seasonal
out of it. It's
depression,
more sunlight, but then we
yeah,
go through it again with the shortest
yeah,
day
that's
when
true. With the shortest
it's
day,
darkness and it's
yeah,
yep, and that's a
yeah,
whole
and we go
different
through it
ball
in the
game for
wintertime.
caretakers. Yes,
That's true.
whole
Whole
different ball
different
game.
ball game. Whole
Oh, Deborah,
different
I
ball
love
game.
talking with you.
Thank you. Thank you, Yolise. This has been so great. So I will not be on for Wellness Wednesday until after the Alzheimer's event. But if you follow us on social media, you follow Light of Gold PR and Gold Wellness Circle, you will see all the posts, the video, our promo video. We have the link to our website for you guys to go ahead and register. We want you to come to this event. It's going to be a great time, and we want you to help us fundraise for the Alzheimer's Association, because a portion of all proceeds goes to them so that they can continue their wonderful work and all of their research.
Thank
So thank
you.
you. Thank you, Yolise, for being my
Thank
guest today. It
you.
was so fun. It was
Yes,
great.
always a
Yeah,
good time.
always
I'll see you
great. So,
Saturday, next
yeah,
Saturday.
see you Saturday. See you next Saturday. And
And if you see me,
everybody,
wave, come over and say
yeah,
hello. I'll be there.
that's right. Come on over, or she'll be dancing, one or the
A-
other. Just come
At
on
that point, though,
over.
I'll be
Yeah, you
sweating.
will be
So
dancing. Trust me, you will be dancing. But everybody, visit goldwellnesscircle.com. Go to the events page. You'll see all the information there, including the registration link. We have promo codes. All the teachers have their own promo codes. Just follow us on social media so you can save a couple dollars. So go ahead and do that. But thanks everybody for tuning in, for watching. Have a wonderful day. God bless. Bye.